Most drifters drift because staying got too heavy. They ride town to town, do their work, and make sure not to let any of it become something more. Most of the time that arrangement holds. A man passes through without leaving a mark, and that suits him fine. Then one morning in the spring of 1883 in the dry hill country of southwest Texas, a young widow named Nora Callahan walked into the feed store in the town of Red Rock Crossing and hired a quiet stranger for $15 a month. She thought she was hiring a ranch hand. She had no idea she was bringing home the man that half the territory's hired killers had been paid to find and bury. That stranger was 29 years old. He had dark eyes and a jaw that looked like it had been carved and left to weather. His name was Cole Danner, though the name meant nothing yet to Nora Callahan. It meant a great deal to the men who were coming for her land. Before we ride back to that morning, I want to tell you one thing. That quiet drifter she hired for $15. He went by another name in the Texas territories. They called him the Pale Rider of the Pecos, and there was not a hired gun in 3 states who did not know that name and want no part of the man who carried it. Now, if you haven't subscribed yet, partner, take 2 seconds and do that. And tell me, where in the world are you listening from tonight? What time is it where you are? Drop it down in the comments. Let's see how far this trail reaches. Now let's ride back to Red Rock Crossing, spring of 1883. The Cedar Hills were greening up slow after a dry winter, and the air still had that April bite, the kind that reminds you the cold isn't finished with you yet. The Callahan Ranch sat 14 miles south of Red Rock Crossing in a narrow valley flanked by limestone ridges. Not the biggest spread in Harker County, but water-rich, which in southwest Texas meant it was worth more than land twice its size. The Callahan family had known this from the day they staked their claim, 20 years before, when Nora's father-in-law first dug the well and found the artesian shelf 30 feet down. Good water, deep, reliable. Water that didn't care about drought years. Patrick Callahan, Nora's husband, had died the previous November. Thrown from a horse while moving cattle in the dark, a freak accident. The sort ranchers accepted because accepting was the only thing that got you through it. He had been 33 years old. He had been a good man. He left Nora a deed, 200 head of cattle, 3 hands who stayed out of loyalty, and a water right that 3 different powerful men now wanted very badly. She was 26 years old with the kind of face that would have looked pretty on a church painting, clear and still and a little sad. She didn't let herself stay still for long. Too much work for that. She had kept the ranch running through the winter on sheer will and the help of her 3 remaining hands. Miguel, old Terrence, and a boy named Eli who was 17 and trying hard to be useful. But spring had come and so had the trouble. And Nora Callahan understood, slowly and then all at once, that she could not face what was coming with 3 men and a tight budget. The trouble had a name. Several names, in fact. The first was Harmon Greer. He owned the largest cattle operation in Harker County, 12,000 acres surrounding the Callahan Valley on 3 sides. He was 51, built like a fence post, and had the impatience of men who are used to getting what they want before they've finished wanting it. He made an offer on the Callahan Ranch the month after Patrick died. Nora turned it down. Greer didn't understand refusals. He sent a second offer. She turned that one down too. The third communication from Harmon Greer had not been an offer. The second name was Dex Moran. He was Greer's ranch foreman, except foreman wasn't quite the right word. Moran was the man Greer sent when he wanted a message delivered in a language that didn't require words. 45 years old, thin, with a face like a hatchet and eyes that never quite landed on what they were looking at. He had 4 men who rode with him. The 5 of them together had a way of making a property feel smaller and darker, the way a cloud does when it slides across the sun. The 3rd name belonged to a man not yet in Red Rock Crossing, but on his way. His name was Silas Vance. He worked for a land and water consortium out of Fort Worth, carried a satchel full of legal documents, and knew, with the precision of someone who had done this in many counties, exactly how much pressure it took to make a widow sell. He was expected within the week. Nora had learned about Vance from the county clerk, a small, frightened man named Abbott who came to her in secret. He told her what the consortium survey team had found. The artesian shelf under the Callahan Valley didn't stop at the property line. It ran north, deep and wide, and it was the primary recharge source for every well on Greer's land. The water right attached to the Callahan deed wasn't just a water right for the valley. In the legal language, the consortium's lawyers were carefully positioning. It was a claim that controlled the water for much of Harker County. Patrick had known about this. He talked about it the way he talked about most things that mattered, quietly, with the weight of someone who understood that some things are responsibilities rather than assets. He told Nora, 2 years before he died, that whoever held the Callahan water right held the future of the whole South Range. He said it like he planned to carry that responsibility for a long time. He hadn't gotten the time. Dex Moran had come to the ranch twice in the past 3 weeks. The first visit was mannerly, barely. The second was not. He rode in with 2 of his men, walked the fence line uninvited, and told Nora, standing in her own yard in broad daylight, that she had 60 days to sign the deed over to Greer, or things were going to get complicated. He smiled when he said complicated. It was a smile Nora Callahan would remember for the rest of her life. She waited until his dust settled at the ridge before she went inside and let herself shake for 5 minutes. Then she went back to work. But she knew work alone wasn't enough. She needed help, the kind the law wouldn't provide. The county sheriff, a man named Aldous Briggs, had twice avoided her when she came to town. He was riding a horse he couldn't have afforded 6 months ago and wearing a new silver hatband. Nora had done the arithmetic. So she went to the feed store on a Wednesday morning in April and asked old Henderson who in Red Rock Crossing knew how to find a man that could handle trouble. Henderson looked at her a long moment, then nodded toward the alley behind the livery stable. There was a man back there tending to a gray horse. Young, quiet, the kind of lean that comes from hard use rather than hunger. He wore a coat that had done a lot of miles and a hat pulled low. 2 revolvers on his hips, worn and well-maintained, sitting in their holsters with the easy familiarity of tools used daily. He didn't look up when she approached. "I need someone who can help me hold my ranch," Nora said. "Dex Moran and his men have been riding my fence line and threatening to make trouble. I can't pay much, but I can pay something and provide a bed and meals." He kept his attention on the horse's left foreleg, checked the shoe, set the hoof down. Then he turned and looked at her. She thought later that looking at him was like looking at still water. You couldn't tell how deep it ran until you dropped something in. "How many men does Moran bring?" he asked. "4 with him. More if Greer decides to send them." "Who else?" She told him about Greer, about Silas Vance and the consortium and the water right, about Sheriff Briggs and the new horse. He listened, didn't interrupt once. $15 a month, she said when she'd finished. "I know it isn't much." "It's fine," he said. "I'll need to see the property today." "My name is Nora Callahan." "Cole Danner," he said, and offered his hand. She shook it. Later she would think about that handshake, how ordinary it was, how she had hired the most dangerous man in the territory the way she might have hired anyone, with a name and a handshake and a wage agreed. The 14 miles south told him things the town hadn't. He rode a little ahead of her buggy and studied the approaches the way some men study a chessboard, seeing angles and weak points where others would see only grass and rock. The valley was tighter than he'd expected, flanked by limestone ridges that dropped steep on both sides. One main road in from the north. A dry creek bed on the western edge that offered a second approach in dry months. 2 rises on the east with clear sight lines to the house. Good land, well-watered, beautiful in the way useful things are beautiful, and defensible with the right preparation. That was the thing he noticed that Nora wouldn't have, because she hadn't spent 8 years studying land for how to hold it. He spent the afternoon walking fence lines, found 3 places where the wire had been cut and restrung recently, not by her hands. Found boot tracks on the eastern rise, 2 sets, several days old, men who had stood there a while looking down at the house. The barn sat at an angle to the house that left a blind spot on the south approach. He said none of this yet, filed it away. At supper that evening at the kitchen table with Nora and old Terence and Miguel and young Eli, he was mostly quiet. He asked about the well, the water rights document where the deed was kept, the layout of the neighboring properties. He ate quickly, thanked Nora for the meal, and walked out to the porch. She found him an hour later in the dark with a cup of coffee gone cold, watching the northern ridge. "You saw something today," she said. Not a question. "Someone walked this property with professional eyes," he said. "Not Moran style. Probably Vance's survey people, but they were looking at more than lines." She sat in the other chair. What were they looking at? The approaches, where a man could stand to watch without being seen. "How long do we have?" "Vance arrives next week. He'll try the legal route first. It's cheaper and keeps their hands clean. When that doesn't work, and it won't, Greer gives Moran a longer leash." He paused. 3 weeks, maybe 4. "And what do we do in 3 weeks?" "We make this valley the last place they want to be," he said. He said it the way he might have said the weather was going to change. Quiet, certain. The thing was already done. The world just hadn't caught up. He went back to Red Rock Crossing the next morning alone, spending the day gathering what you can't get at a kitchen table. Greer's reputation was as thick and settled as old sediment. Everyone in town knew it. Nobody challenged it. He'd been in Harker County 20 years, expanding his holdings in ways the polite folks called shrewd, and the honest ones called something else. 2 prior landowners had sold under similar circumstances. One moved to San Antonio. The other, a man named Dillon who tried to fight it in court, died of pneumonia 6 months before his case was heard. The pneumonia came on very fast. Red Rock Crossing had decided it was better not to wonder about that. Dex Moran's history went back before Greer. He'd worked collections in the Panhandle, which tells you plenty about a man if you know what collections meant out there in 1878. Fast hand, faster temper, kept on a tight leash because Greer needed him useful and quiet. But the leash had slack. Cole spent 2 hours in the saloon with a whiskey he barely touched, just listening. By the time he left, he had what he needed. He sent a telegram to a contact in Austin, a woman named Clara Metz who worked in the state land office and had helped him once before with a property dispute in a different county. He asked her to run the consortium's legal documents against the water right registry. He rode back to the ranch in the late afternoon. Nora was at the corral, working with a 2-year-old that hadn't been fully broken. Sleeves rolled up, hair pinned back, talking to the horse low and steady in a voice that had no fear in it. The horse was listening. He watched for a minute before she noticed him. "Did you find anything?" she asked. "Enough," he said. That evening he told her what he'd found, the 2 previous sales. Dylan and the fast pneumonia, the telegram to Austin and what he expected it to confirm. She listened with the same steadiness she'd given the young horse. When he finished, she said, "Patrick knew something like this was possible. He told me once that if anything happened to him, hold the water right above everything else. Not the cattle, not the land, the water right." Cole nodded slowly. He was right. He usually was, she said. Those 3 words carried the weight of someone bearing something heavy with their whole body. The fire had burned low. Outside, a nightbird called once and went quiet. "Can I ask you something?" she said. "You can ask." "Why are you still here? $15 a month isn't what a man like you charges for something like this." He was quiet for a moment. "I knew Patrick Callahan," he said. She turned to look at him. "Not well. We crossed paths in '79 in the Pecos country. He pulled me out of a situation I wasn't going to walk out of on my own. I never got to return it." He paused. "I've been carrying that debt 4 years. Past time it was settled." Something moved through Nora's face that she chose not to name. "He never told me," she said. "He wouldn't have," Cole said. "That was his way." "Yes," she said softly. "It was. If you're still riding with us, friend, take a moment and hit that subscribe button. It helps more than you know. And I want to hear from you. Where in the world are you listening from tonight? What time is it where you are? Drop it in the comments below. We've had folks riding along from every corner of this earth, and I'm always glad to know how far the trail reaches. Now, where were we? The letter from Clara Metz arrived on the 4th day, saying what Cole had expected, and then several things more. The consortium had registered its water right claim 3 months before Patrick Callahan died. The claim was technically valid, but built on the assumption that the Callahan deed would be vacated, sold, or abandoned. There was a second document in the packet. A survey amendment filed 6 weeks after Patrick died, reclassifying a portion of valley water as communal rather than private. Filed without Nora's knowledge. If that amendment held, it voided the Callahan water right entirely. It had been filed by a county surveyor named Thomas Wick. Cole found him the next morning at his office, a thin, nervous man with ink-stained fingers who looked at Cole's face and the revolvers on his hips and started talking before being asked. Wick had been paid $300 to file the amendment. He'd been told it was a correction of an earlier error. He hadn't asked many questions. He'd tried not to think about it since. Cole looked at him. "Write a sworn statement. Everything you just told me exactly as you said it. Sign it." Wick's hands were shaking. "Greer will write the statement," Cole said. Not loud, not hard. The tone of a man confirming something already decided. Wick wrote the statement. Cole folded it with Clara's letter and put both in his coat pocket. Rode back to the valley. That evening at the fence line, with the sun going down orange over the limestone ridges, he showed Nora the documents. He watched her read. Her face stayed still, but her grip on the paper tightened. The same grip she'd had that first morning in Red Rock Crossing. The woman who had been frightened so many times, she'd learned to make the fear invisible. He planned this before Patrick died, she said. Not a question. Before or alongside, Cole said. It doesn't matter now. We have Wick's statement and Clara's analysis. That's enough to challenge the amendment in court. And until the court decides, he looked at the North Ridge. We make sure Moran doesn't give them reason to forget about the courts. The preparation took a week. He worked from the land outward. The dry creek bed on the west was their biggest problem. It ran hidden between two ridges and came out within 40 yards of the barn. He spent 2 days stringing wire across it, not to stop a man but to mark one. Copper cowbells low on the wire, silent unless touched. Eli helped him run a second line 30 yards back. He moved hay bales in the barn loft so Terrence, who had a steady hand, could cover the south approach. He sent Miguel to the eastern rise at night with a signal lantern that could be turned to face the house. Then he spent an evening walking Nora through each piece of what they had and what to do with it. After that, he spent an evening teaching her to shoot. Not with a revolver. That took time they didn't have. He used the Winchester above the kitchen door, a rifle Patrick had kept in excellent condition. She already knew the basics. He taught her the rest. Where to stand, how to think before aiming, what to do with her breath. He had her shoot at a post on the north fence line until she was hitting it 7 times in 10. He told her afterward, if it came to it, fire at the ground 10 feet in front of the first man through the gate. Not to hit him, to make him stop and look at what was already waiting. She listened. She practiced. Young Eli watched from the fence with the look of a 17-year-old trying to work out where courage comes from and whether he had any stored up. Cole took him aside one afternoon. You're doing fine, he said. I'm scared, Eli said. Good. Scared men pay attention. Overconfident men get killed. Pay attention and you'll be fine. Eli thought about that for a day and a half. Then he went and asked Terrence to show him how to load the barn rifle faster. Silas Vance arrived in Red Rock Crossing on a Wednesday, exactly as expected. Tall man in a gray coat, leather satchel, the manner of someone who dealt in numbers and considered it professional, not to make things personal. He took a room at the hotel and sent a messenger to the ranch with a formal letter requesting a meeting about a mutually beneficial arrangement. Cole read the letter at the kitchen table. Don't go to him, he said. Write back and say any conversation about the property will happen here in the presence of your own counsel. I don't have counsel, Nora said. Write it anyway. He doesn't know that. Nora wrote the letter. Vance did not come to the ranch, but 2 days later, Dex Moran did. He came alone, unusual, and came at mid-morning, which was not subtle. Rode in easy, hat back, coat open so both hands were visible. Stopped at the gate and called out a greeting the way a man does when he wants witnesses to see he arrived politely. Cole came out of the barn. Moran looked at him. Something moved through his face. Not quite recognition, but close. The look of a man who expected something simple and found something requiring a different calculation. I'm here to speak with Mrs. Callahan, Moran said. She's working, Cole said. Speak to me. Moran's jaw moved. He glanced at the barn, the house, the ridge. Mr. Greer is a patient man, he said, but patience has a shape and a size. The offer is fair. Mrs. Callahan would be well advised to take it. She's aware of the offer, Cole said. And she's not interested. A long pause. One of Moran's hands drifted off the saddle horn toward his lap. Stopped when Cole's eyes moved to it. I know who you are, Moran said, quiet. I think I do. You might. That makes this a different conversation. It makes it a shorter one, Cole said. Take Mr. Greer's answer back to him. Tell him the document his surveyor filed in March is going to a federal land office in Austin inside 2 weeks, along with a sworn statement from Thomas Wick. Whatever Greer decides to do next, he ought to make his peace with that first. Moran looked at him a few seconds. Then he turned his horse and rode back up the north road without another word. Cole watched him reach the ridge. Then he went inside. He'll be back, he told Nora. At night, with more men. How many? All of them. She nodded slowly, hands still on the table. Are we ready? She asked. Almost, he said. 2 more days. They came on a Thursday before midnight, while the moon sat behind cloud, and the valley lay in dark that swallowed distances whole. The gray horse moved in the corral an hour before any other signal, turning his head toward the north ridge and going still. Cole was already awake. He was in the yard before the first shape appeared on the north approach. 9 riders along the main road, slow and spread wide, the spacing of men who have done this before. 2 more on the eastern rise, which Miguel had already cleared, and 2 along the dry creek bed from the west, where the wire lines waited. The cowbells rang, quiet and bright in the dark. Cole heard one horse stumble, a man curse low. Then Eli, from the barn roof, sent a shot over their heads that cracked off the limestone face 50 yards back like a whip. Both horses on the west approach stopped. Cole stood in the yard. He said it once, not loud. This is your warning. Ride out. From the back of the formation, Moran's voice. Take him. The first 3 riders came in fast. What happened in the next 40 seconds was less a gunfight than a man playing out a game he had worked through long before the other players sat down. Cole moved sideways, not backward. The first shot from the lead rider went past his right shoulder. His right hand brought the revolver up. No hurry, no wasted motion, a draw that lives below thought after enough repetition. 1 shot. The lead rider's horse shied hard and the man went off unhurt, but down. The second rider had circled left. He hadn't expected Cole to move toward him. The surprise bought 2 seconds. Cole did not fire. He stepped into the rider's path and the horse shied right, the way any horse will when a man walks at it without flinching. In the moment the rider fought the reins, Cole had his left hand on them and the revolver at the man's eye. Get down, he said, slow. The man got down slow. The third had pulled up to reassess, and that was when Nora Callahan came out of the house with the Winchester. She stood on the porch steps and fired at the ground 10 feet in front of him, exactly where Cole had told her. The shot threw up dirt. The horse stopped. The rider looked at it. The silence that followed was the silence of someone who arrives expecting to be the most dangerous thing present and finds out they were wrong. From the barn loft, Terrence had the remaining 6 men on the north road covered. From the eastern rise, Miguel's lantern turned twice. Moran sat at the back of the formation. He looked at the 2 men down. At the barn loft. At Cole in the yard with both revolvers out, completely still. Then from the eastern rise, a shot went straight up into the dark, the sound a man makes when he's heard enough, and Moran's formation broke, riders hauling horses sideways. Moran, Cole said. Moran turned. Take your men and ride, Cole said. The filing goes to Austin in the morning. This is finished. Wind in the cedar, a horse blowing hard somewhere in the dark. Moran turned his horse. The men with mounts followed. The one Cole had put on the ground walked to the gate, collected his horse from the fence rail, and left without looking back. Nora came down off the porch steps, still holding the Winchester. Her hands were steady. She looked at the empty yard, then at Cole. You kept them alive, she said. They had families, he said. Moran hired them. Moran should answer for it. She looked at him a moment, nodded. The federal investigator came from Austin 6 days later. His name was Garrett Hale, compact, precise, 3 months into a railroad consortium investigation. He needed only what Cole provided, the Wick statement and Clara's filing analysis, to close the western end of something that reached far past Harker County. Harmon Greer's name appeared in those papers 4 times. Silas Vance's consortium went under federal review. The fraudulent amendment was vacated. The Callahan water right was confirmed. Sheriff Aldous Briggs resigned 3 days after Hale left town, moved to San Antonio. Nobody in Red Rock Crossing was surprised. Some things don't need saying aloud to be understood. Cole spent 2 more days at the ranch. He told himself it was to check the approaches, pull the wire lines, walk the land once more. All of that was true. None of it was the whole reason. On the last evening, they walked the fence line together, the full perimeter, from the barn to the north rise where the limestone dropped away and the valley spread out below in the late light. Green and well-watered. Land that earns the word beautiful, even after you've stripped the sentiment out. Nora stopped at the north post and looked out over it. Patrick would have liked seeing this settled, she said. He would have settled it himself, Cole said. Maybe. She was quiet a moment. You don't think of yourself as doing something good, do you? You think of it as settling debts. He thought about it. Those might be the same thing. They might, she said. She looked at him. Cole. He waited. You could stay, she said. No pressure in it. The offer of a woman who decided to say the true thing and accept whatever came back. The light was going soft behind the ridge. Below, Eli was at the corral for the evening feed. Miguel checked the west fence. Old Terrence had come out to the porch with his pipe, settling into the ordinary ease of a night that held no danger. Cole looked at the valley. There are other places, he said. Other women in other valleys with deeds they can't hold, and sheriffs driving horses they shouldn't afford. I know that. It's not about here. I know that too. He went quiet. She let it sit. I'll come back, he said. She looked at him a long moment. Don't say it if you won't mean it. I mean it. She nodded once. Same way she had in that feed store alley when she'd made up her mind. They walked back down to the house in the fading light. He left before dawn, saddled the gray horse in the dark barn by Feel, led him out into the cool yard and stopped. The upstairs window was lit. She had known he would go before dawn. She lit the lamp anyway. He looked at it a long moment. Then he stepped into the saddle and pointed the horse north. At the top of the first rise, where the Callahan Valley dropped away behind him, he stopped. The lit window still visible in the blue-dark pre-dawn, one small, steady point of light. He looked back. Then he rode on. I have sat by a lot of fires, partner. And I have tried more than once to figure out what separates one man from another. What makes one step forward when another stays back? I never found a clean answer. Sometimes the ones who stood their ground were running from something and just ran out of road. But I knew Cole Danner. What drove him wasn't bravery. It was the weight of a debt he believed was real. The kind a good man carries quietly and pays in full when the chance finally comes. He found that chance on a widow's ranch in the spring of 1883. Settled what Patrick Callahan had given him 4 years before in the Pecos country. Paid it back with a week's work and a sworn statement, and 2 revolvers he barely had to fire. Then he rode north, because there were other valleys, other women, other sheriffs on horses they couldn't afford. Nora Callahan kept the ranch, kept the water right. 2 years later, she built a schoolhouse on the eastern slope. A small stone building I'm told still stands, though Red Rock Crossing is mostly gone now. She named it after Patrick. Never sold. I don't know for certain whether Cole Danner came back the way he said he would. I'm old and the years blur things. But I know a lit window is its own kind of promise. And some debts once paid grow into something more than they started as. Maybe he came back. This old man by his fire likes to think so. Keep your powder dry, partner, and your soul honest. That's the Callahan story. If it rode with you, leave it a like before you go. Subscribe if you haven't, and drop your corner of the world in the comments. Tell me what time it is where you are tonight. Until our trails cross again.